Hello and welcome to Porch Time. This is spring. Yay! And I have a wonderful singer-songwriter from Guilford. And Lara, I don't want to mess up your last name. So what is your last name? Say it out loud.
I don't blame you. I misspelled my own last name on my second CD.
Okay.
So, no, it's all fair. My last name is Herskovich.
I was going to say that, but I just, was like, ah. And so you're from Guilford?
I live in Guilford. I'm not from there, but yes.
All right. So where are you from?
I was born in Stamford.
Okay.
So I'm a native Nutmegger, and I was raised in New York State, rural New York State, and then came back to Westport for high school.
Where in New York?
Pound Ridge, Westchester County.
Okay.
Like at the time was very rural. And
Yeah. It's not now.
It's not quite as much as it was then. Yeah.
Because I'm originally from Dutchess County, Rhinebeck area.
Right.
Yeah. So it's funny when people say, where are you from? And you say New York, they automatically think that you're from New York City. Mm-hmm. There's no other part of New York.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And you've been very, very busy. Very, very busy, I see.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, you haven't always done this.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, I've always written songs.
Right.
Always. My mother is in the middle of downsizing, so she's going through all of this stuff. I recently I thought I started writing poetry and songs at 10, but I just discovered family evidence that my first poem was at 7. So I'm going back in time. I'm not saying it was a good poem.
Can you put it to music?
But yeah, no. So I've always been a musician. Like I'm a born musician.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that until I was about 30.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I went to college and graduate school and started a career in nonprofit policy, social work.
Nice.
And did that for 18 years alongside music.
Yeah.
And just 2 years ago, launched into full-time art.
And how does that feel?
It feels amazing. It feels great.
It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
So I just want you to play. So play a song.
I've been digging into a lot of mindfulness meditation recently. And so, not surprisingly, I feel like whatever things writers are doing shows up in our music. So this is the song that it kind of turned up in. Now, hear this. Now, can I borrow you for a minute, maybe 2 or 3? Bring them beautiful broken pieces from you and me now. Hear this now. Can we forget about the world for a minute, maybe 2 or 3? What used to be trades in for infinity. Hear this. We can glitter, we can shine, swallow tails on the telephone line, waiting for the call to arrive with this. Now, hear this. Lakeside, I see edges thin, bored of the shore, but what if we fall in? Oh, what then? Oh, what then? What now? Hear this now. Some savored sadness till it won. We were climbing trees to catch a little more sun, waiting for the future to come. Right here, this now. Here, we can glitter, we can shine, swallow tails on the telephone line, waiting for the call. Came just in time. It's this now. deliver spring. We will try and fail and try again. Little did we know that everything is now right here. This right here, right now.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And it's not, I don't try to do this.
Yeah.
But when I hear your music, and certainly others' music, you can hear the influences.
I'm
But
always
they're-
curious about what people think they are.
But they're not, they're not a copy, but you can hear the influences. So to me, that sounded a little bit Joan Baez.
Okay.
But again, Lara, it's
Right,
not,
right.
but where do you find your, when you're inspired by something, what puts it down on paper or a tape recorder or whatever? What's your funnel to that when you have this inspiration?
Can you clarify the question?
Okay.
Do you mean like technically what's the process, or spiritually what's the...
Spiritually,
Okay.
because technically, everybody can play guitar.
It's a piece of paper.
It's a piece of paper, and you have a pencil because and an eraser.
Fair enough.
But so you're inspired by a thought or an
Yeah.
idea or a vision or whatever, but it becomes lyric and
Right. So it's entirely possible that like we could have this conversation for 6 hours, and my answer to like almost everything would be it depends.
true.
So my answer to that is it kind of depends on it depends on the content.
Right.
So if it's something, I am a policy social worker. I have an MSW from UConn in social work policy, and so if it's something that's justice related, if it's something that's like politically related or what have you in that field, I might have a really different process that might be more like filled with frustration for injustice
Right.
than if a song like that, where like literally I might have just been coming out of, a period of like doing a lot of yoga, doing a lot of meditation,
Right.
and I'm really trying to honor getting grounded
Right.
and wanting to just honor the moment in a way that's like helping my life unfold in the way that it needs to unfold,
Right,
as
right.
opposed to like gripping the wheel all the time.
Right.
And then anything in between, like, so it's not a clear answer, but it really does depend.
Yeah, and I totally get that, because I have, as a songwriter, I have songs that just kind of go, "Boop," and they come out.
Yeah.
And then I have songs that I labor over,
Yeah.
and because they're not, I have to think about it harder. But so I asked that question because for everybody it's different.
Right.
Full-time musician, do you sit down every day with your guitar and
Yes.
write something?
Not necessarily write something, but I do happily. I have an
You have a great
ever-growing,
relationship.
stronger relationship with
Yeah.
this guitar and another guitar.
Yeah.
And I love to. It started out as it started out not feeling like a chore, but it started out like I started out being aware that I needed new habit development. And so I have a good friend in New Haven who's a conga player, Eric Ray. We're accountability buddies. And he wanted to rehearse more. I wanted to rehearse more. So literally we check in with each other as soon as we finish rehearsing on
Right.
that. We each have different details of what we need to get done.
Right.
But when I'm done with my thing, I just send a little check mark over to him, and he knows that, and he'll do the same with me.
Nice.
And after, they say habit development takes 30 days or something like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm in that habit, and so it doesn't feel like a task that I have to get to every day. It feels like a joy that I look forward to.
Right.
So
right.
sometimes it's writing,
Right.
and sometimes it's playing scales, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sometimes it's going over cover songs, or again, it depends, right? Like number two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I totally understand that. I am. I wish I was more structured in that process. I'm kind of a not lazy.
Unstructured.
When I feel like it, I do, and it's great.
Yeah.
But I I'm going to go home and set up a timeline and a schedule because
It's helped me.
yeah, it does. It
And
does.
what I don't do though is I mean, and I also teach creativity workshops, and like I think a lot about this stuff.
Right.
Not just for my own life, because I'm trying to succeed. Like the point for me is that there are certain things that I want to learn how to do on guitar, or I want to learn how to write better. And in order to do that, I have to invest the time in
Right.
in
And
learning
that's
it.
true. That's absolutely true.
But
in,
I
in
don't
anything you do.
pigeonhole myself in terms of schedule. So I don't say, because I would rebel in a hot little second if I were to tell myself at 10:01 every day you have to sit down. Like that would be
Yeah.
the death knell for me. So the trick is like knowing what motivates you.
Right.
What's the book? Gretchen Rubin wrote a book. She wrote the Happiness book, but another like sister book to that was about motivation and what motivates you. So if you read through that, there's like a personality type quiz you can take online.
Yeah.
And so if you're motivated by like making other people happy, then an accountability buddy is helpful because you want your accountability buddy to know that you've got his or her back,
Right.
or their back.
No, it's wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't want time to go by too fast, so
I know we could just
step right
talk
into
and talk and
another.
talk. All right. So I'm in the studio. I'm recording a new
Yeah.
album, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be called Highway Philosophers. And this will be, not sure of the key yet. So it's a rainy day with like spring throat. So I'm going to go into lower key, but this is Highway Philosophers. We are highway philosophers, and we can drive alongside all the toughest truckers. We ride gently through the night. We let our lives tick by in lollipop signs, 0.2 of a mile at a time. We flew in yesterday on dragonfly wings, came around the bend just in time to see this new day begin. One road not taken, then the next, then the next, till we found ourselves standing right here in this gorgeous wilderness. We built our home in the philosopher's stone, questions and promises to keep, and 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 highway miles to go before we sleep. We swim in concrete rivers and dark corners of our minds. Any given moment, shine a light in there. You don't know what you'll find. This is a brand new song. Theory.
Awesome.
Until we found ourselves standing right here in this gorgeous wilderness. Now you'll just have to get the CD if you want to hear the right song.
That is true.
We built our home in the philosopher's stone, questions and promises to keep, and 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 highway miles to go. Well, tomorrow never knows, and if it did, it wouldn't tell. There really is no way to say if this is going well. I drew a compass on my skin, so when any fog rolls in, I know precisely where to begin. We built our home in the philosopher's stone, promises and questions to keep, and 500, 600, 700, 800, 900 highway miles to go before we sleep. Before we sleep. Before we sleep. Before we sleep.
Wonderful.
Thank you. So there's a good example. I've been doing nothing but writing the last 3 days. Haven't played any of my new songs. So
Oh, well. The beauty of the porch is you're just hanging out with me.
I love the porch. I'm happy to be here on the porch.
So, first of all, I want to say I love your boots.
Oh,
'cause-
thank you. These are old Gringo boots. That's my favorite brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had these boots for a long time. But thank you. Yeah. And you're in spring footwear, so I'm admiring that too. Going for
You know, it was
I
like
haven't transitioned to spring yet.
It felt like it.
Yeah.
So, you have a website,
I do.
okay, and that's where people can find where you're playing. Do you have music there?
I have everything there.
Yeah?
It's
Okay.
kind of an easy one-stop. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
just my name, LaraHerskovich.com. If you Google anything close to it, you will find me. There aren't a lot of people with
It's a
anything
unique
close
name.
to my name, which is why I didn't. So for real, so I don't know how many CDs I have now. 6, maybe? 6, 5? On the second one, I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not a visual artist. There are things I literally just don't see.
Right.
Like I'll hear all kinds of things,
yeah.
but I don't see them. My graphic designer is amazing. I was the editor, and I missed. So it was Lara, Herscovi, and then there's supposed to be a T, CH, and there was never a T. I never noticed.
Yeah.
So that's my website. Is my name and links to social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter.
So, yeah, for me, it's my last name is Ben and Son, so that's like pretty simple.
Yeah.
The only thing that gets messed up occasionally is is it an O or an E?
Right.
It's
That makes sense.
It's an O. But,
What nationality is Benson?
English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, English.
So you're in Brexit right now.
Yes. Yes.
Times over there.
I know.
Or confusing times anyway.
Confusing. Yes.
Yeah,
Confusing. Please play another.
Ah, okay. All right, so here's another example of sometimes the songs, like you said, just appear. Just, and it shows up. And other times it takes a little longer. I feel a little bit like songwriting is like farming, where just seeds get planted and I water them and I fertilize them and I never know necessarily like when something is going to grow and what is going to grow. Like you plant corn over here and all of a sudden like a tomato comes up and you think, all right,
Yep.
tomato it is.
Okay.
So I went to a workshop with Donald Davis, who's like on the inter/national storytelling circuit, and the prompt was around the Iliad and the Odyssey, this idea that we go out into the world to figure out who we are and like discover our best self, our best like align with who we're meant to be, and then we come home and home is transformed because we are transformed. So he planted those seeds in me 2.5 years ago. And about a month or so ago, I did a second storytelling workshop with him, and the song was finished by the end of that workshop. So this is the the newest one that I finished last night, which I'm not even going to try. But this is before that, before yesterday. It was the most recent one. This song is called New Haven to Newfoundland, and I chose Canada's northern province of Newfoundland because of the Northern Lights. So I've never seen them. I've never gotten to like camp out and just watch them.
Yeah.
But it's set there because magic in the air. How could you not?
Right.
You heard the call of the ocean, where the wind and waves conspire their secrets. Everything they will say. Packed up your questions and pushed off the shore, drifted into the mist, searching for so much more. Snow moon on the rise, hang on tight. Gonna be a hell of a ride. So come on, Odysseus, begin. Wait for the moment the sails catch the wind. Where you're going takes the helm from where you have been. New Haven and Newfoundland. places where words wouldn't go. Unfurling the sails, untangling the ropes, the ocean will lift you as you lift your hope. Some friends cut the anchor, some sharpen the steel. Let the albatross go, take turns at the wheel. Snow moon on the rise, hang on tight. Gonna be a hell of a ride. Come on, I can see us begin. Every sailor and conifer mast understands. Everything breaks till it learns how to bend. Oh, there will be lightning, hurricanes, all the risks you'll have to take. Trust in the treasure map brought you all this way. Signal lamp lit, the stars are all right. The future breaks open, just like the green and golden sky, with the snow moon on the rise. Hang on tight. This is the ride of your life. Come on, I can see us begin. Know the northern lights will welcome you in, and you don't want to wonder all that could have been. New Haven and Newfoundland, oh Newfoundland, back again.
Beautiful. Okay, guess what time it is? The porch is coming to a
Oh,
close.
the porch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Lara Herskovich. How's that?
That was great.
All right. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
And play us out while
Okay.
while we're going.
Will do. This is one that was inspired by my other career. It's called Sylvia's Eyes. Sylvia sits, Sylvia waits, Sylvia watches through these gates. Sylvia dreams, Sylvia aches, Sylvia wonders how to escape. Traveling slowly, she'll get by, makes her way 5 cents at a time. Drifted far from the shore of her soul, Sylvia keeps on rolling, scared to look down. Streets have shifted when she turns.